a country located in the continent of Africa, Sudan, and within that country, a small region, is suffering. Darfur. But yet we do not hear their plea. We do not understand, comprehend what they are experiencing. But let us revisit the past to understand the grim present.
Within the Society of Sudan are three distinct groups. One group Arab and religiously Muslim in the north living nomadic lives, another African and religiously Christian in the south living sedentary lives. In the west is Darfur, which contains three sedentary tribes, African and religiously Muslim, and various Arab and affiliated nomadic tribes. The social structure of Sudan is predominantly focused on the sovereignty of those Arab, while those that are classified as African were sometimes referred to as slaves.
Following a Sudanese civil war in which the South claimed victory over the North, the South began to rise up from the imposed racial inferiority of those classified as black. However, those living in Darfur, the three main tribes of Fur, Masali, and Zagawa, classified as black, were being marginalized by the Sudanese government. Not to mention, with the integration of both black and Arab individuals within the region of Darfur, there is a sense of tension between the blacks and the Arabs.
In response to the marginalization of Darfur, two Darfuri rebel groups, the Sudan Liberation Army and the Justice and Equality Movement, commenced attacks against the government. It was believed that the government favors the Arab nomads over the black farmers. The government then assembled its forces in a new way to launch a counterinsurgency, to get the fish by draining the sea. In order to destroy any possible further rebellion against the government, President Omar al-Bashir and other appointed officials agreed to launch a counterattack against the rebel groups by utilizing their military and the Arab tribal groups, the Janjaweed, also known as the Devils on Horsebacks.
First, the government military would bomb villages, wells, and other valuable targets from the air. Following the air assault, the Janjaweed would raid villages on camels or horseback. Many are forced to flee from their homes, while those that are unable to escape are killed. Food and water resources are destroyed, and people are tortured, raped, and slaughtered. The main priority of these exterminations were to wipe out any individual closely related to the rebel groups. It is said that hundreds are murdered at each village the military and the Janjaweed attack.
It is very clear as to why many political officials internationally recognize the Darfur incident as not simply just a conflict but a genocide. The distinction between Arabs and Africans in Darfur played a major role in the mass atrocity because Africans were seen as inferior to Arabs. The genocide was also organized by the Sudanese government and the Janjaweed.
Humanitarian aid has been provided for the displaced Darfuris affected by the mass killings. Refugee camps have been opened for the displaced victims, and other countries are allowing victims to seek refuge. The UN Council, along with the UNAMID, the United Nations mission in Darfur, have sent a task force of peacekeepers to help protect the Darfuri, but their efforts have been nullified by the Sudanese government.
The UN states, "We can leave Darfur any year if the government creates the necessary conditions to make that possible, but it is very unlikely that these conditions will be met." Although it is rough for the UN to make any difference, many online campaigns and awareness sites are trying to do their job and inform the public about the unease in Darfur.
Although there have been attempts at helping the Darfuri people, they have not been sufficient.
It is one thing to get the word out or sympathize, but another to actually do something impactful.
So what needs to be done is not money donations or just to spread the word.
But action has to be taken in Darfur to stop the unnecessary violence and to end the suffering. The UN has all the necessary components to stop the Darfur genocide. It is up to us, the people, to urge our political officials to make the final move to end the senseless killing. The time is now. Don't look away. This is Darfur.